All right, let me go ahead and edit the chat settings really quick and then let's see. Where is that at? Mm, there we go. All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? There is a lot going on in the world. I just wanted to hop on here really quick before I got too sleepy and just talk about a few things that are going on. There's been so much. For starters, the Ashley Jenae thing. I don't know if you've heard about that. It is an influencer who went on a trip to Africa with her extraordinarily rich boyfriend, who later became her fiance on that trip. And it did not go well. Something really bizarre happened between them. We don't know all the details. And then she passed away, unfortunately. Her family, the whole story with that is really strange. The guy allegedly didn't contact when she had passed on. He didn't say anything to the family. They found out later on. A lot of weird stuff. But in general, if you see the pictures, a lot of people felt like there was a weird vibe between her and the guy. That one really hit close to home for me because at one point there was a guy that actually looks really similar to him that was very interested in me. Also, very rich, had around the same amount of money as that guy, was in the same industry, and looked very similar as well. And I actually turned it down. Now, to give you some context, you know, for dinner, he wanted to take me out to the nicest restaurant in Los Angeles, one that you need exclusive reservations for, that not a lot of people can go to. And it didn't really excite me or whatever, but you know, it would be things like if I was busy doing stuff, I'm like, "Oh, I can't go out because I'm cleaning, I'm doing this and that." He's like, "I'm gonna send over a maid, and they'll do all the cleaning, and you can just relax and have fun." Like, he's the type of guy that if I was like, "Oh, I don't have anything to wear," would be like, "Oh, well, go to the store and I'll put money on the books to where you can get anything that you want." I remember one time he had a world-class massage therapist who only did the top stars and celebrities in the world, and he's like, "I'm gonna send them over to your house to give you a massage so you can relax and feel better." I'm like, "No, no, it's okay. It's okay." And the bottom line is I'm not saying anything about the guy that's negative. I'm just saying what I picked up then and what it kind of reminds me of with the Ashley situation is I know many women are looking for the soft life. It's a dream for a lot of women to have a wealthy man that's going to take care of everything and do all of these things for you. But the reality is, when you're dating someone like that, that is their money and not yours. If they have tens of millions of dollars, they have tens of millions of dollars. And at the end of the day, especially if you are a woman of color and the guy is a Caucasian male who's older, some of these guys, they still know at the end of the day, they're in a position of authority to where they are the ones that have the tens of millions of dollars. And again, not saying anything happened between her and her husband, it's still being investigated. But I can say, when you are dating a man like that who's incredibly rich, incredibly powerful, who has tens of millions of dollars, who's a Caucasian older male, much older than you, and you're not coming in with that type of money, he knows at the end of the day, he holds the books. He's in the position of authority. People are going to believe him over you. People are going to give him the benefit of a doubt. He's in the position of control. And this actually applies to women of all colors, but specifically in this situation, it's even more extreme. And so when I was dating this person, I wasn't swayed by the money and the things and this and that and the other. And of course, I think that made him like me a lot more, right? And I've talked about that a little bit on one of my most recent tapes, just little snippets of that. Um, but they are used to women that want to come in and chase the bag per se. I don't believe in bag chasing. I believe in doing the best that you can to get established for yourself. I know there's a lot of propaganda discouraging women not to become nurses, but if you want to be a nurse, be a nurse. But there are all kinds of other things to do, x-ray technician, all types of different jobs within every single industry that you can do. And even if it's not a super high paying job, not everybody needs to go for a super high paying job. Maybe just have a stable job doing something that you love where you're looking after people or something like that. Having your own, even if it's small and simple, is so much better than accidentally ending up in a position to where you get with someone out of desperation or because you're swayed by all of the stuff and you think it's a fast track to the dream life, and that person ends up being everything but. You also have to keep in mind when you're dating someone like that, you have to keep them happy. Your job is to basically be their Barbie doll. You have to look good all the time. You have to make them look good. They expect you to be all over them. They expect you to always be, hugged up with them and kissing them and taking all the pictures with them and making them basically have a boost to their ego. If not, what is the point of you being there? What else are you there for? They can go out and get any girl. That's how they see it because they have all of this money, all of these resources, all of these things. They're not going to want to be with a woman who's basically going to be distant from them and, not dress up for them and things like that. They want a Barbie doll. They want a girl that's going to be dressed up all the time, always all over them, always in a good mood, never complains. And if you demask a person like that, depending on the type of guy that you're with, if you say no to them and you're like, no, I don't like this, I don't like that, or you're getting on my nerves or whatever, not you're getting on my nerves, but you know what I mean. If you demask them, if you don't play into this fantasy of you being the Barbie doll that's all over them, what's going to happen is they are going to get passive aggressive with you. They are going to get angry with you. And if you call them out on that and if you challenge them on that, then guess what? You can end up in not so good of a situation. And remember, at the end of the day, they know they're the ones that have the money, the power, and the control. And even with the one that I dated, when I listened to some of his stories about what happened between his ex that he was with for several years, why didn't they ever actually go through with the marriage and this and that? It all came down to, she did this, she did that. It was very much like, she didn't want to comply. You're basically playing a role. And for some women, they might feel like the money is worth it. They might feel like, you know, they don't mind, but it's a full-time job. That's a full-time job. So he's not the only one. There have been other ones, but the moral of the story is I don't really agree with doing that. If you want to get with someone, get with them because you really like them and you guys are really compatible and you guys have a great time together. Thank you for the likes to who liked. Get with somebody for those reasons. Don't get with somebody because you think that it's going to be like a cheat code to the dream life. Because a lot of times other things come with it. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you date someone who you think would be the ultimate person ever and you get with them and it's anything but, and you're miserable. Imagine being married to somebody like that. And if you have kids, remember, those are going to be their kids. That's what they're going to tell you. I don't have any children, but based on the rhetoric I heard from these guys with their exes and past situations, if you are a woman who they were with and you had kids with them, they see it as those are their kids. And it's just not a good situation to be in unless you really know you like the guy for sure. So that Ashlee Jenae situation definitely made me think of a lot of things, but there are so many layers to that situation. And again, we don't know what all happened, but the optics, there are so many different things that could have been in play. They went on an extravagant trip together. She's taking all these photos. He proposed to her. And the next thing we know, she is passed on and they claim that they had gotten in a fight first. The hotel staff claims that. And he didn't even tell the family. The family, I guess, called the hotel staff called the family. The family seems a little bit too calm about it. Maybe they're going through shock. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things about that situation. Another thing is today I heard about the Argentina glacier. Apparently, they are going to be mining at an glacier in Argentina. Supposedly, I haven't looked up all the details about this. This glacier is super important for cooling down pretty much the entire Earth and has been protected for centuries now, decades now. But they have decided that they want to get the crystals and things like that that are underneath, even if it means destroying the glacier. That is some really scary stuff. And even I guess their president said today was a big loss for Greenpeace and a big win for Argentina. And I'm like, why would you be cheering on a loss for Greenpeace? Like, don't you want the planet to be healthy and beautiful and sustainable for future generations? I'm very worried about how much we are harvesting this planet. We are harvesting the hell out of this planet. Everything from the resources, the minerals, the look at our plant life at this point. Look at the fact that when you go to grow certain crops, they don't grow right and the soil has been affected so much, so things have been damaged so much. I don't like the harvesting at all. I don't like the fact that we don't have clean, clear air. I don't like the issues with pollution that have been caused. I could go on and on and on about that, but I will leave it at that. That upsets me a lot. But I feel like in this situation, there's like, it's like there's nothing. What can you do? What am I going to do? Write the Argentinian president and say, like, oh, I don't like your decision with the glacier, and I think you should leave the crystals there and the minerals there. Like, and even there's a video I saw about that, and the lady, she was from Argentina and she was crying and really upset. I'm like, what do you do? She didn't know what to do except make a video and talk to people around the world and ask for help. But so maybe it'll end up not being as bad as that. I don't know. There have been a lot of different things going on, a lot of ups and downs. I'm trying to remember, there's another topic that I wanted to talk about as well. I'm trying to remember what that was. There's something else really big that happened in the news. And if I don't remember, it'll be okay. We'll talk about it another time. But in general, thanks so much for hanging out. I wanted to stop on here and say hi, but yeah, I don't believe in, especially if you're a woman, putting your future and your fate in the hands of in the hands of someone else. Like, I'm not against love and relationships and things like that, but I don't subscribe to or buy into the idea of like having a person that you feel like is going to take you away, sweep you off your feet, and, put you in a mansion and everything's going to be easy at that point and you'll just have everything that you want. I don't think that's the best approach to doing things. And I know some people seek that out. There is a lot of training on that. And on one level, you have a lot of women who talk about, how to get a rich man and things like that. And then you also have men that are on the other side of things in the manosphere saying the most ridiculous stuff about how to get a woman. And at the end of the day, it would be so much better if we just went back to natural and organic. Natural, organic dating, connections, and actual love. And when you have love involved, you don't need to have all of those power plays. The problem is, do a lot of people even know what love is at this point? I don't know. I don't know. Well, I can't remember the other thing. Okay, wait. One more thing before I leave. When it comes to your body and your health, do the best that you can. I know it's hard for a lot of people out there right now. That's another thing I kind of was talking about in one of my most recent videos. It's so tricky with these labels. You might think you're eating one thing and it's another. I personally am a pescatarian, which means I eat a little bit of fish, but that's it. I don't eat all fish. Um, but when you're buying fruits and vegetables and healthy foods, try to read your labels. I know it takes extra work, and don't beat up on yourself too much. Just do the best that you can because it is a little bit difficult at times to get clean, nutritious, organic, healthy food and be able to get it at a reasonable price. But one thing I can say is definitely try to avoid junk foods, try to avoid snack foods altogether, try to avoid sodas. And I know some of it sounds like common sense stuff, but it's harder when you're in a real world situation where you have the snack machines nearby, and when you are feeling tired and you're like, well, that would be easy just to go get fast food or whatever. But the quality of the food has changed so much in the past 10, 15, 20 years, where you have to be conscientious about what you have because it can be more difficult, it can be trickier. And, I will eat fast food and things like that from time to time, but I notice it makes me feel really, really sleepy, and I can only have it maybe every now and again. So I'm not like saying like, "Oh, don't ever eat this or don't ever eat that." I'm just saying when it comes to being healthy, do the best that you can because your cells regenerate themselves at night. I had a really crazy dream a few weeks ago where I was actually talking to my cells. It was really weird. And my cells were explaining to me, they were like little gnomes almost. And they were explaining to me, they showed me a picture of the hair strands they were printing out and or making, I guess you could say, or in what they were repairing while I was sleeping. And they were telling me like, "Oh, if you just gave us more of this, more of that, we would be able to make so much better things for you, like prettier hair and things like that." And like omega 3s were one of the things that came out in that. And also like certain vitamins and nutrients that I wasn't getting enough of. And I remember in the dream feeling so sad for them, like, oh, they're trying to do their best work, but they don't have enough ingredients. And I woke up like, oh, that's easy. I'm going to help them. When I woke up, I'm like, wait a minute. What if that was kind of like real or a hint? What if I'm literally talking to my body, right? To a certain extent. And I went through and I did start eating healthier and taking more omega 3s and vitamin D and all the vitamins I normally leave off that are really, really good for you. And your cells can heal and repair themselves so much if you pay attention to stuff like that, and you'll feel better, you'll sleep better. It's really great for if you're dealing with spiritual warfare, if you're dealing with any type of discomforts, if you just want to have more emotional stability, having a super healthy body where you have all of your nutrients and your health to the best of your ability does make a big difference. And I feel like it's one of the most overlooked aspects of what you could call, I guess, spiritual healing, emotional healing, etc. I think it's kind of sad that we kind of write it off like, "Oh, yeah, like, people are looking for information," which is great, and it's super helpful, but also your body, which is processing everything and which is building you and your structure, it also needs the ingredients in order to be able to do the best that it can. You know, if you want your skin to glow, if you want your hair to be long and healthy, you could put all kinds of products on your hair, but in order to have it happen, you need to have the right proteins, as you know. You need to have the right vitamins. And, just have fun with it and do the best that you can. It does make a huge difference. And a reminder to drink water. And I'm not just telling you this, I have to remind myself every single day. Like right now, I have to take a few vitamins before bed. It's like very late in the morning here, around 4 a.m. And well, just after, well, almost 5 a.m. to be honest. But I know that I have to take a few vitamins before bed. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like doing it, but it adds up. I have certain ones that I take that make my skin glow really nice and do different things. And so do the best that you can. I hope you have an awesome, cool, fun, amazing rest of the day. And until next time, I'll remember what I had to talk about later on. All right, talk to you later.